I think the dust has finally settled on the celebratory fanfare that was the announcement of the new Mac Pro. Apple fans around the world clamored at this new, extremely high-end, extremely expensive modular PC. And to be fair, it brought a lot of features that Apple fans have been looking for. Upgradable storage, RAM, a socketed CPU, and oodles of PCIe slots for either one of Apple's proprietary MDX GPUs, or, if desired, the ability to use a standard off-the-shelf graphics card. Now look, I know that PC users are going to scoff at the proprietary keying on the PCIe SSDs, or the Apple T2 chip that limits upgradability and dual booting into Linux, or the theoretically effective but practically questionable cooling design. But look, for us battered Mac users that have been dealing with MacBook Pro keyboard issues, a disappointing MacBook Air refresh, thermal throttling problems, etc., this new Mac Pro finally feels like a fresh start. A new chapter. Apple seems to be demonstrating that they still care about the Mac, at least in some form. But there's a problem. You see, this new computer starts at $6,000, and with really underwhelming specs to boot. Now, there are a lot of people that consider themselves pros, but either can't budget or justify the hardware selection that Apple has made on the new Mac Pro, kind of including me. So let's talk about why Apple's current lineup excludes a whole lot of people and what they could do to win us back. This video is sponsored by Dashlane. Keep your passwords, identity, and online presence safe with Dashlane Premium. Give it a shot today for free with the link in the video description. If you want a headless Mac without a screen, you really have two options. There's the 2018 Mac Mini, which is the cheapest Mac, and the 2019 Mac Pro, the most expensive Mac. And that's it. And while an odd number of Apple fans seem to think that the new Mac Mini is super great, I don't. First off, there's no upgradable or replaceable components, save for the RAM, which requires a really severe disassembly process to access. There is no dedicated GPU, and you can't blame the tiny footprint as the culprit, because Intel's Hades Canyon NUC is about the same size and packs a rather powerful AMD RX Vega M, for almost the same price too. The Mini also has pretty severe thermal throttling issues, as I demonstrated in my review, and the $800 base model specs are comically bad. I built an Intel NUC Hackintosh that not only performed 20 to 30% higher in benchmarks and real-world testing with significantly better cooling, but it was less than half the size of the Mac Mini and nearly half the price. So many people say, oh, well then if you need more power than Mac Mini, just get one of the 2018 i9 iMac models or the 2017 iMac Pro. Indeed, they have a beautiful display, but they too mostly lack end-user upgradability. The standard iMac can have its RAM upgraded, but that's it. And on the iMac Pro, it's just simply not user upgradable. Now, I say that with a bit of a caveat, as I have, in the past, upgraded both the CPU and the RAM on both my 5K iMac and iMac Pro. The CPU is socketed in both machines, as is the RAM. But that is a massive undertaking, and that is hardly something I could recommend that any sane individual do. I wouldn't call it end-user upgradable. Furthermore, the GPU, which more frequently requires an upgrade than the CPU, is BGA soldered on all iMac models. It's not upgradable. Apple permits the usage of Thunderbolt 3 eGPUs, but while I've tested them, and they do work, they're expensive, they're noisy, and they don't take 100% advantage of the card's capabilities. The Mac Pro and iMac Pro share similar flaws when it comes to hardware selection. Now, I, as well as many other YouTube creators like Linus Tech Tips, have demonstrated that when considering the gorgeous 5K display that comes on iMac models, Macs are actually pretty comparatively priced to the hardware that's in them when looking at PCs. What PC fanboys will point out, and they do have a point, is that almost no sane individual would choose the same hardware that Apple uses in their machines, especially their Pro machines. They unnecessarily utilize enterprise-grade Intel CPUs, as opposed to just really high-end consumer ones, which are substantially more expensive and offer little to no practical benefit with the latest generation hardware, even for industries that allegedly require them. They use ECC memory in a world where standard DDR4 has superb error correction, and their GPUs are over-engineered and underperform cards that cost a fraction of the price. So yeah, their computers are priced pretty well for what they are, but no normal person building a PC would choose the hardware that Apple chooses. Apple's often willing to spend 3 times as much money for a single-digit performance or reliability increase. On the Mac Pro, I think that's probably a fair call. But for people that are doing anything other than data science, extreme 3D rendering, or simply need enterprise certification, for those that just want a modular Mac, it isn't. Then we have the ProDisplay XDR. This monitor is in a weird spot because you have color scientists basically saying that the monitor is cool, but likely won't replace reference monitors that are used in color grading houses, which was the competition that Apple compared it to during the keynote. On the other side, you have people like developers or non-professional video and photo editors, people like me, who feel like they need the power of the Mac Pro, but don't need a $6,000 monitor. Sure, there's the LG 5K Ultrafine that Apple sells, but the build quality is crap, it's ugly, and reliability issues have been pretty widely reported. Apple straight up doesn't sell a monitor under $5,000. You used to be able to use the pre-2014 iMacs in what was called target display mode, which basically allowed the iMac to be used as a monitor for another computer. And it was great, but that functionality disappeared in 2014 when the 5K iMac was announced. And I described why in an old video. Take it away, sexy young Quinn.
Now, the iMac Pro did have some slightly weird compatibility issues in certain games like Far Cry 5, because the monitor basically pretends to be two side-by-side displays, running each at 2560 by 2880. Why? Well, because the iMac Pro screen annoyingly still uses a custom timing controller that was implemented clear back in the 2014 5K iMac before DisplayPort 1.3 was a thing. But now embedded DisplayPort 1.3 is a thing, and instead of using that to carry one full 5K bandwidth, they still split it up into two.
The current base model 27-inch 5K iMac starts at $1,800 US. Now, even for $1,800, you cannot find a 5K monitor with similar color accuracy and max panel brightness. Now, there are monitors around $1,100 to $1,200 that surpass the iMac's color accuracy, but they're 4K, not 5K, and they also have significantly less max brightness than the iMac with a non-glass panel. So, I propose that Apple do the following. Build a Mac Pro Mini of sorts. Make it look the same as the Mac Pro, but with a much smaller form factor that provides easy access to the CPU, the RAM, and the SSDs, with only one or maybe two full-size double-width PCIe slots for GPUs and accessories. Don't use the Xeon line. Don't use ECC memory. Using current-gen i7 or i9 CPUs intended for the high-end desktop market, they could act as a jack of all trades. And while it would never happen, it would be cool to also see Apple offer a desktop with AMD Ryzen support, since their price to performance is currently the market champ. Allow this newfangled Mac to be sold without a GPU, internal graphics only, with the option for users to utilize their own macOS supported GPU. And Apple, stop being a douchebag and let NVIDIA drivers work on your latest OS, please. I think the base config like this could be offered for a rather high $1,999, and a lot of people would still opt for it. I probably would. On the monitor front, take the exact 5K panel that's being used inside the iMac Pro and stick it in an enclosure similar to the ProDisplay XDR. Apple could price it at $1,500. Heck, they could price it at $1,800, the same price as the iMac, and it would still be one of the best priced displays on the market. And who knows, maybe they could even throw in a stand for free. Filling this vacancy in the market could allow Apple to have a line of computers that could cover nearly all use cases for every target consumer, which would be the first time that Apple would be able to make everyone happy in a really, really long time. Speaking of happy, you'll be happy to know that your online identity is protected with Dashlane. You've probably heard of Dashlane. They've been a market leader in password management for years, with autofill capabilities on desktop and mobile, their one-click password changer, and more. But Dashlane is so much more than that now. Dashlane Premium includes a fast multi-country VPN for every device you own, which really comes in handy when traveling or using unknown Wi-Fi networks. They also offer dark web monitoring, which not only serves to inform you when data breaches occur on the services that you're using, but if and what data of yours has been exposed or is being sold online. Dashlane saves you time and offers peace of mind at an unbeatable price. Try Dashlane today for free by going to the link below. And when you decide to sign up, save 10% off your purchase by using the coupon SnazzyLabs at checkout. Well, folks, if you enjoyed this video, you know what to do. If you didn't, that other button seems to work okay too. Get subscribed for more awesome tech videos like this one, but most importantly, and as always, stay snazzy.